Mm. Oh, guys, stop.
Hey, Ursula.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Great. Except it looks like I'm in some shadows, so I'm going to turn on the light here. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get started, if not right at 7, then a little bit after 7. But it is an honor and a pleasure to have you all this evening. Looking forward to the exchange. Okay.
Better. Okay.
Yeah, you're glowing now.
I'm everybody.
Okay. Is everyone here tonight so far here in Atlanta, or are you from somewhere else? Right. Yes, Danita.
Well, this is Danita. I'm here in Atlanta by way of Maryland, but I am here.
Good deal.
Okay. What about you, Bill?
I'm actually the Operation Hope, the company that I work for, is in Atlanta. I happen to live temporarily in Florida.
Okay. Okay. Mr. John Hope Bryant.
Yes, ma'am.
We actually work with them a bit. We have a heating and air conditioning company, and so we work with them via Promise Homes.
That's terrific. John talks about the about all of the different companies that work with him at Promise Homes, and he's really excited about the commitment to especially Black-owned businesses that Promise is working with. So thank you for working with Promise and for the work you do.
So Bill, this
Yeah.
is Jeffrey Henderson. I work a lot with Operation Hope too. I do a lot of the financial literacy and entrepreneurship. for the program. I've been involved with the Hope Forum for about 8-9 years now. I spent a lot of time volunteering for Operation Hope.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, because we can do a little bit with the team we have, but we can do an awful lot more with folks like you that are working with us. So just hats off to you. Thanks so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this year's forum, which was a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta.
Yeah. Do you know Megan Cook?
I do know Megan.
Yeah, that's who I work with a lot. I work a lot with Megan Cook.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Megan does a great job in our youth program.
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, did you know, how long have you been with Operation Hope?
Just about a year and a half, or a little over a year and a half now.
Okay, because I used to work with the person prior to Megan also. She went on to work for Usher. So she's working for Usher's new youth program.
Wow, that's impressive. Those are some good. Yeah. Those are some good street cred working for Usher. That's great.
Yeah, she does all of her She does all of his development of his programs.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I would like to
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I would like to plug the Hope Global Forum. So if anyone did not have a chance to be there in person or online, to possibly go, I think probably to their either the website or Facebook page, and try to take in some of those videos. And then they had the pitch competition, and it's a really if you've never been to one, it really is life-changing. And because John really is looking to, he has connected with so many people to help eradicate poverty and help change the world in so many ways. And there are so many businesses that are committed to that. And he has connected with so many, folks who are helping Black. I'm telling your whole thing on it, Bill. I'm sorry. He connected with so many people who want to help Black businesses as well. But I promise you, if you go and watch some of those videos from the October event, you'll be very encouraged to continue on and continue to do what you're doing in your own lives and your own businesses.
Yeah, thank you for that, Danita. It was very inspiring to see all of the different players come together, and each story built upon the next about how by working together we can really make a difference.
What event was this?
This was the Hope Global Forum that was in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. But Danita was saying that if you go to Operation Hope, our website, you can see we have video clips of, I think, almost all of it, maybe all of the speakers online. So you can catch whatever session that most interests you. And she also mentioned we had a pitch competition where we had 3 of our participants from the 1 MBB program that I'll talk about very briefly. It was super impressive to see these entrepreneurs out there with their business ideas.
Yes, if you're not following them on social media, John O'Brien literally comes on almost every day on Facebook. I suppose it's on the other places as well. But you can actually get the 3 or 4 or 5 minute videos from him pretty much at least Monday through Friday. Just talking about being successful, the right mindset, economics, silver economics. And so how do we really make that change, and the different programs that they have set up for children all the way through entrepreneurs. So it's very encouraging. And I don't know why I'm trying to tell the Hope story tonight, but he got started, in case you don't know, back when Rodney King was killed. And he lived in California at the time. And that really sparked him to get out there and make a difference. And was it 25, 28 years later?
We started in 1992. So next year's our 30th anniversary. Next year's our 30th anniversary.
30th now, yes. And they have done amazing, amazing things between government contracts and helping deal with financial illiteracy, and just helping people with their credit scores, helping them to purchase homes. I mean, that's just a couple of things I know about. It's so much to the Hope organization. So just want to encourage people in case they don't know about him to take a look.
And for those of you all who are not familiar with Miss Danita Miller, she's my co-host for this evening, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about her as we get into our program this evening, as well as let her tell you about. But she's absolutely right. Operation Hope is just a phenomenal organization, and every time I go to that global forum, and I think Danita, we've been going for what, 6 years now? Every single
least.
time, it's
Oh my
just
goodness.
so inspiring. It never gets old.
Never. I mean, it really is inspiring. I remember, I'm gonna tell you this little story that I'll stop. But I remember I went one year, and at the one evening we went over to the Georgia Aquarium, and they had buses to take us over there from the hotel. And I was sitting next to a gentleman, and their whole organization, the only reason why they exist was to provide Pampers, diapers to women who were on WIC. I think it's women and children and whatever it's called, that WIC program, because he told me that that program, at least at the time, would not allow them to purchase Pampers, diapers with their card money, whatever it is. And so they they created the organization, and then they partnered with the folks who actually work with those women and children, or something it's called. And so they provided that service. And so you had all those types of people in the room, just trying to figure out how can we make the world a better place. Very inspiring.
Okay, everyone, we're about 2 minutes from getting started and get this thing underway. So we're just going to wait a couple more minutes and we'll get started. In a minute here, I am going to mute everyone until if you're going to be a speaker on tonight, where I will unmute you, and then everybody else, feel free to use the chat for anything that you want to, a point you want to highlight or a question you may have. We will have a question and answer segment at some point during the night, but yeah, okay. Please be sure to mute your phones nonetheless, or your device, whatever you're using tonight. All right, it is 7 o'clock. I think we have a good crowd with us. We had over nearly 250 registrants tonight here, but we got a lot to get to in a little bit of time. So I want to just welcome everyone to tonight's informational session. Danita, my co-host, as I mentioned earlier, had some conversations with some officials with the Small Business Administration and thought it would be a good idea, since these EIDLE funds, the last day to apply is December 31st. And she learned some things that, she thought maybe some others needed to know. And we came together and pulled together some partners to be able to share this information with their memberships and their constituents and audiences. And so here we are this evening. So we wanted to open up this forum to give you all an opportunity to hear directly from the SBA about the program, all the pertinent information that you may or may not know. So welcome. My name is Ursula Frederick Brown. I am one of the original founding members and the current chairperson for the Embassy International Chamber of Commerce, otherwise known as EICC, and the chief visionary of the recently launched EICC network, where we help churches like us. We started this chamber as a faith-driven chamber out of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, where Pastor Jamal Bryant is a pastor, more than 12 years ago, to facilitate entrepreneurship among the church members. And so we launched that network to be able to help other churches do likewise. And so I'm delighted to be your host this evening, like I said, alongside Danita. And I'm going to let her talk some more after I intro some of our partners who have so graciously agreed to join in with us tonight. And so I'm going to introduce them one by one and have them speak to you about their organizations and what they provide as far as really trying to facilitate entrepreneurship and business among our collective. So first I'm going to introduce Bill Fair of 1MBB. Bill, let's see here. I'm going to get you to go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me, Ursula?
Yes, sir.
Great. Well, listen, thank you so much for having Operation Hope and the 1 Million Black Business Initiative. That's what 1MBB stands for as a partner here tonight. I hope everyone on the call really pays attention to the useful information that's going to be provided, because this is money that can be available to Black entrepreneurs and Black business owners. One of the things that we're doing at Operation Hope, in adjunct to what's happening here, is providing this program called 1MBB, through which we provide business content on business development. We provide one-on-one coaching. We provide access to technical experts in areas like marketing and legal and IT, access to business mentors, and also through our partnership with Shopify, which is a very large e-commerce platform, 120-day free trial of the Shopify platform. All you have to do, and I don't know if you can pop up that slide, Ursula, but you just go to the Operation Hope, which is operationhope.org website, /1MBB. It's at the bottom of this slide here. Register as an entrepreneur or as a Black business owner, and all of those services are available to you. And most importantly, they're available to you at no cost. So this is another resource you can use to try to create a more successful, resilient, and prosperous business. And we're excited to be here, and thanks so much for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bill. And I do want to add that the EICC is engaged in the 1MBB program with a commitment to start, launch, or grow 1,500 businesses throughout the duration of the 1MBB program, which is a 10-year initiative. So we're looking to actively support businesses, Black businesses, to come through the 1MBB program and take advantage of all of these great resources. Thank you again.
Terrific.
Okay, and then I'm going to have, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bill.
I'm going to put in the chat some links that may be helpful to participants.
Awesome, thank you. Is Paula Watts available?
I am.
Okay, hey Paula.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Please
How are
tell
you?
everybody.
Hi,
I'm so delighted
everybody.
to have you. Tell everybody about GPI and the wonderful resource you provide to entrepreneurs.
Oh, great. I teach, or the GPI trains you on how to position yourself for SBA certifications, primarily for the 8A program. And if many of you don't know about the 8A program, I encourage you to go to SBA's website and get an understanding, because that program is primarily for minority-owned businesses, and it allows you to go to any federal agency and you can have contracts awarded to your business up to $4 million with no competition. So we train you on how to position yourself to get into the game. And I like to say my motto is, we create millionaires.
Woo-wee. Yes, ma'am. Love it. I've actually been through Paula's training, and it is top notch. I promise you, it is worth the investment, worth the time for you to get into GPI and get that education and get that money. All right. We're going to go to our next partner, Matthew Hampton, with the New Black Wall Street Market here in Stonecrest, Georgia. Sir, are you available? I thought I saw him come on.
I'm here. I just was trying. I was working.
Gotcha. Hey, Matt.
Hey, thank you, Ursula, for having us. We're super excited. I see a few of our members in here. We are in the embryonic stage of launching the New Black Wall Street Market and preparing to have the blackest Black Friday next Friday. We also will be open this weekend. We've been doing soft openings. So we'll be open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the New Black Wall Street Market here in Stonecrest, Georgia, 8109 Mall Parkway. So come out, shop with our vendors, support these folks. I was particularly interested and supportive of everything that you guys do, Ursula, at New Birth. Y'all have truly been one of our greatest partners and allies in developing the New Black Wall Street Market. And I was interested because we are working hard to make sure that our entrepreneurs can survive. And that they're properly capitalized. And so all my entrepreneurs who are members of the New Black Wall Street Market, y'all pay close attention tonight, and we're going to get together and we're going to work together as cousins and get this thing done and make sure we apply for these funds because we need to stabilize a lot of the investment that's gone into getting these shops open at the New Black Wall Street Market. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm going to be a student tonight and just learn as much as I can. And I surely want all of the New Black Wall Street family to make sure that y'all are tuned in, paying attention, and we're going to be working to make sure that if there's additional capital we can put into those businesses, that we get it. So thank you,
Absolutely.
EICC, for putting this together and allowing us to join you this evening.
Absolutely.
Ursula, yeah, but Matthew is not giving the full story. It's 115 suites over there. Matthew, please.
All right, Danita, always tell me what I did wrong, boy.
Please.
So I am excited to announce, this is my program, so I'm trying to be quick, Danita. We are excited that we are at 100% occupancy. We sold our last suite last night. So all of our suites are sold out. Right now, our next movement is going to be to open up our consignment programs in our grocery store, our natural pharmacy, our gift shop, and also the gift shop in our art gallery. So if you know African-American entrepreneurs anywhere in the country that want to supply a grocery store or a gift shop, make sure that they get in touch with us because that's going to be our next move. Danita, is there anything else I need to talk about?
Yes, I would like for them to know there's going to be a jazz club. Yes, I'll finish it out for you, Matt.
Thank you, Danita.
There's going to be a
wait, Danita. I do, Matt, for those who are interested and maybe find an opportunity in the future, what about connecting to the ecosystem? Go ahead, Danita. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they just need to go to www.newblackwallstreetmarket.com and you can apply. You can apply now without paying a fee. And so if you want to tell us about your business or what's great or why it should be in the market in maybe a unique way, like our consignment program, or maybe you want to come and do experiences or events, you can still communicate with us that way. And I'll put the website in the chat. But now Danita can tell you all of whatever I missed that she want to tell you about.
Just the last two pieces. We have an actual tea room there, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to actually have high tea, you can do that. We also have a jazz club that's coming 3 restaurants and 12 eateries, and I'll stop there. Thank you, Matthew.
Awesome. All right, thank y'all. Next up, we're going to hear from Fred Jones, who is with the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurship in downtown Atlanta. Fred?
Hey everyone, I'm Fred Jones again, as Ursula said, Program Manager at Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs. And our mission is to inspire and empower Black entrepreneurs to take their business idea to scale. And how we do that is through a big ideas model, which is inspired, and oh man, I forgot the model. Sorry about that, y'all. It was a long day. So it's inspire, develop, execute, accelerate, and scale. And what that means is that inspire is the concept, and develop is actually formalizing the company. Execute is customer acquisition. Accelerate is the capacity, and scale is the actual money or capital. And currently right now we have 118 members, which we call stakeholders in our particular program. And what we do, essentially, we provide business education and relationships through our corporate partners to help the business owners, Black business owners, to get to the ultimate level, which is achieving capital and helping their business grow to scale.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here. And then last but not least, we're going to speak to Chris Seabrook of the Stonecrest Chamber of Commerce. Chris, is you up?
Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Chris Seabrook with the Stonecrest.
Chris,
oh, can you hear me?
is you up?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. All right. So again, Chris Seabrook with the Stonecrest Chamber of Commerce. We are a local chamber, and we provide resources to businesses to help them to grow, to promote their business. And then also we do a monthly meeting where called our Hour of Power, where we'll actually share resources. So generally we connect you with a speaker that will teach you how to do anything from market your business to again, network properly so that you can go through and expand your network. So our website is www.Stonecrest Chamber of Commerce. Our meetings are generally the third Thursday of the month, and we have just recently moved to Glitz of Atlanta, which is over by where Haverty's used to be. It's the big salon suites. They've got a new location. And we look forward to supporting your business and helping you grow so that you can be of value to the community.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that our two chambers are partnered through a dual membership. So you can actually get the benefits of both organizations with one membership fee. So you can find out more about that. And I'll post the link to our website, EICC Network, so you can get more information about that. Now, the other organization, Atlanta Black Chambers, is one of our partners as well, but they had other commitments tonight, so they couldn't represent, but their members are on here, and they are in full force tonight. So we thank the Atlanta Black Chambers, Melvin Coleman, for supporting this endeavor, sharing this information with their members so that we can all be informed. Okay, so without further ado, I'm now going to bring back up my co-host, Danita Miller. Danita, please introduce yourself and our speakers for tonight.
Hi, everyone. So most of you have already heard me talking, but I am Danita Miller, and I am the president of the EICC, Embassy International Chamber of Commerce, as well as I'm a member and a board member of the Stonecrest Chamber of Commerce, as well as I work with Matthew Hampton with the AEI and the New Black Wall Street, as well as, no, just kidding. So we are just really we like to do collaborations and work together because this is a great opportunity for us to learn and to grow and to move our businesses to the next level. And hopefully this is encouraging you to know that these organizations are out here, they exist, and they're here to help and to encourage you and to help you build your businesses. I am really excited. Tonight we had 2 members from SBA, and we have a surprise that I didn't know who she was coming, so I'm very happy to see that. We have Miss Rosemary Drake, and she is with the Sba Loan Division for SBA, and she will be able to share information about that as well as the EIDLE program. And then I do believe I saw Miss Terry Dennison here as well. And Miss Dennison is actually, excuse me, is the district director for SBA here in Georgia. So she's actually here in Georgia. And I think she's been there since 2002. She's been there for a while. She actually, I believe Paula actually knows Miss Dennison. I think they may have worked together as long with Miss Rosemary, because Paula Wash used to work for SBA as well. So ladies, we are so excited to have you here tonight. The folks are ready to hear about the EIDLE program and how all of us can get some more money, and what we need to do. And if we have any questions, any stumbling blocks, they'll be able to answer those questions for us. So ladies, without further ado, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Danita, and thank you all. I'm Veronica Peen. I am a part of the
Veronica's
SBA.
here too. I didn't see you, Veronica. I'm sorry.
Yes, all good. So I'm Veronica Peen. I'm a senior advisor in the Office of Capital Access. And I work on processes and policies to work to make the capital programs that the SBA offers to be as accessible and equitable as possible. I'm pleased to, as Danita said, to have my colleagues Rosemary and Terry here. Before diving in, I don't know if Rosemary, you'd like to introduce yourself so the group can kind of hear from you.
Sure. Thank you, Veronica. And I want to thank everyone for joining tonight. And we would like to share some information on COVID EIDLE. As they mentioned, I'm the 7A chief here for the loan program. So we have other programs, our regular loan program, 7A and 504, and our microloan program. So in the event that you're an existing business and you're not getting COVID EIDLE loans and you're looking to start or grow your business and scale your business, those loan programs as well would be beneficial to you. And for all loans 350 and below, 350,000 and below for this fiscal year, the fees are being waived on those loans. So it's also a great incentive to continue to look at other programs at SBA, as well as our resource partners with SCORE, SBDC, and the Women's Business Center, and our Veterans Business Centers too. So I will let Terry, if you want to say anything to the crowd as well, because you are the Georgia District Office Director here.
Hi there. I'm actually in the office, so I haven't quite set up for video, but good evening, everyone. And I just wanted to support Rosemary and Veronica in their presentation, and just to let everyone know that I'm here on the ground, not only with the disaster related stuff as it relates to COVID-19, but our regular offerings for just general business support. And I'll put my contact information in the chat for you.
Great, thank you, Terry, and thank you for joining us, and Rosemary for joining us. I know this event came together from a great conversation I had with Danita, who had the vision that we could all come together and get some information out to all stakeholders here. So thanks for everyone for making that happen. It's very exciting for me to share the stage with all the organizations and initiatives that I just got the chance to hear from, the great work being done to promote small business. So looking forward to COVID EIDLE being one of many resources that everyone gets to hear from tonight. So what we'll go through is I'll go through a presentation on the COVID EIDLE programs with particular focus on the loan program. I'll then go through the website to walk through where you can access resources to apply for that program if you want to apply for that. And then I want to leave some time if Rosemary, you have some comments on the other programs that are available, because the COVID EIDLE program is a disaster program. It is unique to the COVID-19 disaster. It ends at the end of this year, December 31st, 2021. And so after that, there won't be any more COVID EIDLE, but there are other programs that Rosemary and Terry have expertise in. So we want to make sure you have some, information on that. And then if, in terms of their questions, it's possible we don't have time to get to all questions about this. So I'm happy to, I don't know, Danita or other, contacts to engage if you want to send via email any list of questions that come up, and we can kind of shoot over some answers afterwards. So that's kind of how we can approach this. So I'm going to share my screen. So for anyone who's in audio, I'll talk through it as well. But for anyone who has video, you'll get to see the visuals. I can also email this afterwards so that could be shared out with anyone who doesn't have video now.
Veronica, I just made you the host. Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Can you all see my screen? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Before actually I start going into the details of the program, it helps me have a little pulse. If anyone can share in the chat if you've already heard of COVID EIDLE, or you can share in the chat. My question is, have you heard of it before? And you can say yes, no, sort of. Actually, sorry, let me reset my show. People kind of gives me, okay, getting a lot of yeses, some nos. Okay. All right. And then if you can put in the chat any questions on your mind around COVID EIDLE. And again, it's possible I don't get to all these, but just to kind of have a flavor of what's on people's minds. And then I can be glancing at that, but I'll start. All right, let's do it. So the COVID EIDLE program, as mentioned, is a disaster relief program that the SBA has been offering. It's part of the federal response to supporting small business recovery in light of COVID-19. The program has two components. It has a loan component, which is kind of the foundation of the program, a small business loan that I'll talk to in detail. And it has a grant component, the targeted advance grant and the supplemental targeted advance grant. The grant programs, to qualify for those, you need to be in a low to moderate income geographic zone. There's a tool on the website that I can show us all after to see if you fall into that geography. And you need to demonstrate a revenue loss in the first 8 weeks of the pandemic. So those are two requirements. I really emphasize that. To people so that they don't go through the process and then realize they didn't qualify. So, so that's for the targeted and supplemental advance. I'm going to try to share again. Make sure you all. All right. Let's go. So that's the targeted and supplemental targeted advanced program. That's a grant. And so to qualify for those, you need to be in that geography, that there's a tool for how you can see if your geography is that, and you need to have demonstrated revenue loss. For the loan program, this is another eligibility point I like to emphasize from the start. You need to have been in business by January 2020. So if you started your business after January 2020, unfortunately, COVID EIDLE is not available for you. And that's why it's important that, Rosemary and Terry, my colleagues, highlighted other programs that are available to small business. COVID EIDLE loan program requires that you were in business by January 2020. So now that I've cleared that out, for anyone who was in business by January 2020, let's talk now, because you could be eligible for this program. So the COVID EIDLE program, small business loan, the loan component, it's a 3.75% interest rate. It's a 30-year repayment horizon, and you can defer that repayment for 2 years. So it's generous terms relative to small business loan alternatives. That stretched out repayment horizon reduces your repayment burden on a monthly rate. So I think the way that's helpful to think about is if you get a $10,000 loan and it has 10% interest, let's say, and you have to repay it in 5 years, your monthly payment is going to be much higher than a COVID EIDLE loan, which is repayment over 30 years and 3.75% interest rate. So for example, if you get $10,000 of COVID EIDLE loan funds, your monthly repayment is less than $50. It's like about $50 a month. That'll be much higher for a market alternative that the repayment period is, let's say, 10 years and a higher interest rate. You can also defer. It's actually COVID EIDLE is automatically deferred for 2 years. There's no penalty if you want to start paying early, but you automatically get that 2-year deferment. And so that's the thought in terms of a reduced repayment burden. The other benefit is a flexible use of funds. You can use COVID EIDLE loan funds if you get this loans on a whole range of normal operating expenses and working capital. That includes paying business debt. So if you took on commercial business debt for your business and it has higher interest and it's just less generous terms, you can get a loan via COVID EIDLE, get those funds and pay off that commercial loan. And so you're just left with the COVID EIDLE loan. This is not refinance. That can be a little confusing sometimes. It's not refinance, but you can just take the COVID EIDLE funds. Let's say you get $10,000, you get $50,000, and you have a $10,000 commercial loan that's higher interest rate. Take the COVID EIDLE funds and you can pay off that loan and it's gone. For a commercial loan, you could also use it to pay a credit card balance incurred for your business. For federal debt, you cannot pay off federal debt, but you can make payments on federal debt with COVID EIDLE funds. Another form, you can use it on payroll. You can use it on rent. We know a lot of small businesses during the pandemic had deferred rent, and then they're coming up on having this deferred rent price tag waiting. You can use COVID EIDLE funds to wipe out that rent. So it's a flexible use of funds. This is very different from PPP, for example, that had more guidelines or requirements on how you use the funds. Finally, it's an accessible application. You can obtain this directly through the SBA. You do not need to have an external financial institution to apply for that. You do not apply for this via an external financial institution. You can go directly through the SBA via the SBA website. So the benefits of this, it's meant to be for a small business owner, is you get these funds directly from the SBA, so you don't need to go to a financial intermediary for this. You get the funds, you defer the payment for a couple of years if you'd like. You focus on recovering your business. You can use it on a flexible range of items of what recovery means for you. And then when that repayment comes back in a couple of years, that burden on a monthly basis is lower than it would be for a market alternative. So that's kind of the package here. For those who, I'll go through this briefly, but for those who were maybe not, who had heard about COVID EIDLE before, there were some changes done in September. So in September, the cap was increased from 500,000 to 2 million. In September is when a change was done that you could use it to pay prepaid debt, like what I just explained for commercial debt. In September, the deferment period was extended for 2 years. And then there are a variety of the affiliation rules were simplified to model those of the restaurant revitalization funds, and it was simpler to qualify for SAI standards. Broadly speaking, if you're a small business of 500 employees or less, you're good, you'll qualify from a SAI standpoint. This does include sole props. If you are a sole prop, self-employed employee business of one, you qualify. I really emphasize that. I've had some people be, other sessions confused if sole props can obtain this. The answer is yes. I walked through this. So how do you apply? How do you get this loan if this is good for you? A couple points I want to explain. One, again, I really emphasize you have to be in operation by January 2020. So in terms you apply, you go to the SBA website, and I can walk through this, but it's sba.gov/EIDL. Go to that website. I highly recommend reviewing the website information and the FAQs. It will make your experience significantly smoother. Unfortunately, at times, the COVID EIDL process has been a bit complex. The program has had unprecedented demand for the agency. And so handling that demand has been something that the agency has been working into. And so at times the process has been kind of complex. And so the website has been updated with information of how you can apply and things to watch out for. So I highly recommend reviewing that information before you start your COVID EIDL journey, because that would just make it smoother for you going forward. You review that information. If you are brand new to COVID EIDL, you've never applied for this program before, what you're going to do is you're going to complete an intake form. And I'm going to walk through that, but you're going to complete an intake form. You're then going to get an email inviting you to a portal. You then go to that portal and finish the application up. So that's if you're brand new to COVID EIDL. If you're not new to COVID EIDL and you're seeking an increase in your loan, you already got a loan via COVID EIDL. To get an increase, you go to the portal. You don't do another intake form. That will lead to some complexities. So I like to make that distinction. Before I talk to the process of how to apply, we want to really emphasize the deadline. The deadline to apply for the loan is December 31st, 2021. The deadline to apply for the targeted advance grant is also December 31st, 2021. The deadline for the supplemental targeted advance is also December 31st, but it's possible that you might not get processed, or we might not get to it if you don't apply earlier. So I recommend for the supplemental advance applicants to apply by December 10th to ensure that you get processed. So I know that can be a little confusing with the different dates. For the loan, it is December 31st. If you get your application in by that date, it'll be processed afterwards. In general, with programs ending, people ask, when should I apply? My suggestion is as soon as possible. It'll get your application in the queue, you'll start getting processed, and you're also more likely to get higher touch customer service, because we see as we get closer to the end, there'll be kind of an increase in demand, and customer service, we've been investing in it to be a lot high quality as possible, but there's ultimately a limited number of resources. And so the sooner you get it in, the more likely you can get that higher touch. All right, I'm going to open up a window. So to apply for the program, you go to sba.gov/EIDL. So you'll come to this website and you click down here, COVID-19 EIDL. Actually, I'm sorry, I usually try to say, what does the acronym, what does EIDL mean? It's an acronym for Economic Injury Disaster Loan. That's what that is. So you click down here for this is for the loan. If you're applying for the grants, that's over here. But I'm just gonna go through the loan right now. So here you can access different information. You get more loan details. These are the FAQs. It has not been updated yet with the deadline. That should be updated this week. So you're all hearing it though, December 31st, 2021. So here you get product information. You go through the application process. This is for a new loan. As I highlighted, it's different if you're new to COVID EIDL versus increasing your loan. Here, if you're new, remember we talked about the kind of eligibility confirmation. I emphasize this because I hear of stories where small business owners, you're all busy, you have a lot going on. I'm really sad when I hear about small business owners that spent all this time doing, getting ready for an application and they weren't eligible, right? Because maybe they weren't in operation by January 2020, so it's not a good use of their time. So you look at the eligibility, make sure you're good there. So the January 2020 is one point. Another point is a minimum credit score. So for a COVID EIDL loan of $500,000 and below, you need a minimum credit score of 570. 570. So I emphasize that as well. So what you'll do is you complete that intake form. Remember, you'll get that email invite. I'll invite you to the portal, and then you'll finish it on the portal. I also emphasize this because I've just heard so many people get lost in that process. And it can be confusing. Where do I go? I have an intake, I have a portal. And I understand that that's maybe not as smooth as could be ideal, but those are the steps. Here you can access an example of the intake form. You can check it out before you're filling it out to know what am I going to need to fill out. You can get a copy of that here. So here you can see the intake form, what type of information is going to be requested of me. Here you can see the intake form checklist, which is essentially kind of instructions for how to complete that intake form. So you'll see here, there'll be an image of the intake form and it tells you, gives you instructions. What is being asked? Why am I being asked that? What do I need to fill in for each question? So you can check that out before you complete it. And then the portals, remember intake form, email, then portal. You can check this out and also see some instructions. And it has an image of each page. So you get to that page, what's it asking me? And you see, you can walk through these instructions step by step. So the reason I recommend just reviewing that is that when you're actually then going through the application, you've kind of seen some of this before, you have some instructions to hopefully reduce confusion. Okay, then that's the loan. Then I'm going to try to find a resource on the advanced programs. One moment. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just go to the website so you can see. So for the grant programs, again, that's the program set of programs that you need to have. The targeted says targeted EIDL advanced supplemental targeted advanced programs. So you need to identify for the targeted grant. So that's up to $10,000. You need to be in a low income community. You use this mapping tool. You put your information in and I'll let you know if you are or not. You need to demonstrate 30% reduction in revenue during an 8-week period starting with the start of the pandemic. And you need to have 300 or fewer employees. This is on the website again, but just highlighting these are requirements for you. For the supplemental targeted advance, that would be an additional $5,000. To qualify for that, you also need to be in that low income community. You need to demonstrate 50% economic loss and have 10 or fewer employees. The targeted and supplemental advanced programs are grants, so they do not need to be repaid. $10,000 for targeted, $5,000 for supplemental. The loan program is a loan, it does need to be repaid. So those are the programs. The final point, I don't mean to have an information overload, but it is helpful to highlight how you qualify for a certain amount of funds. I know there's been some confusion around that, so to just get ahead of that. So when you're applying for a loan, you have to qualify for a certain amount of loan funds. The way you qualify is via the economic injury formula, which is your 2019 gross revenue minus your 2019 cost of goods sold or expenses times 2. So for example, if I'm a business and I had revenue of, I'm just making numbers up, I had revenue of $100,000 in 2019. and I had expenses of $50,000 in 2019. $100,000 minus $50,000 equals $50,000 times 2 equals $100,000. For me and my business, for this example, I'm eligible for $100,000 of COVID EIDL funds. I cannot apply for more. So that's how you know what's eligible. So I hear some small business owners who maybe wanted more and they try to get it and they get a lower amount. It's confusing. Why was I not able to get the amount I wanted? You have to qualify based off of that formula. And that information, that formula is on the website. It is on the FAQs. I just know there's a lot of information. It can feel, might get buried, but it is there.
Can you go back over that formula really quick?
Yeah, let me put it in the chat also, so you all have it. So it's gross. So it'd be 2019. Your annual gross revenue minus your annual cost of goods sold or expenses, essentially your expenses, times 2. And so for COVID EIDL, because you have to have been in operation by January 2020, for the most part, you'll use your 2019 numbers. If you started your business midway 2019, those numbers can just be annualized, right? So if you have 6 months of numbers, they could be annualized. And if you started your business in January 2020, you just make that cutoff, that month could also be annualized. Oh, sorry, I think I sent the message to just one person. Let me put it here. Let me try to. Let me try to find it here. So. Trying to find the formula here. So it's in the FAQs on the website. But again, I just like to walk through it here so you have that up front. Here we go. So you go to the FAQs on the website, and if you go to, it has a section that says, how much can I borrow? And it shows here, your eligible loan amount is calculated as follows. It has that right here in the how much can I borrow section. All right. So those are some resources. I'll read through the questions in the chat while, I don't know, Rosemary, if you want to give people maybe a summary of other programs.
Sure, no problem. So unlike COVID EIDL, you have to be a for-profit business to qualify for the 7A and 504 loan programs. It is not a direct loan program through SBA. We use our lending partners to facilitate the 7A and 504 loan programs. So for 7A, that's our flagship program where you can borrow up to $5 million. And you could do it through many of our lenders. You can go to what we call this lender match, or you can simply go to your existing financial institution and ask, do they offer SBA loans? And so SBA loans for 7A would allow you to do anything from working capital for your startup business or your existing business. You can buy commercial real estate. It has to be owner occupied. You can construct commercial real estate. If you have a franchise, you can also finance a franchise through the 7A loan program. So it's kind of the dumping ground for you can do everything with a 7A loan program. You can actually acquire an existing business as well. You can do a partner buyout, but you can't do a partner buy-in. So if you have a business with a partner and you're looking to buy out your partner, you can also leverage SBA funds for a partner buyout in the 7A loan program. In the 7A loan program, we look at your financial statements through the financial institution. And so they're going to look at either existing financial statements and or financial projections. They're going to look at your overall cash flow. So what you have available to service debt. So basically your gross income minus any expenses, and looking at what other debts you have and seeing how you can actually finance that particular loan over a period of time. So for working capital loans, you can finance them up to 10 years. If it includes real estate, you can go up to 25 years on a 7A loan. And again, if you have ever had a loan, conventional or SBA, you do go through our lending partners. You can, again, go to your bank, or you can go also to the district office and they can help match you with a resource partner if you're looking for someone to help you put your financial package together to see if you qualify. The 504 program is more of a fixed asset program where it's a two-party loan where the SBA is doing what we call a direct venture for financing 50% of the project costs. And we use a traditional lender to do the other side of the 504. That's more for job creation. You can actually leverage a 7A and a 504 loan together. And 504 loans go up to 25 years as well. And there are some new parts to 504 where qualified debt refinance. We'd ask that you reach out to your lending partners to find out more about that particular program if you're looking to do eligible debt refi through the 504 loan program. We also have our microloan program, and that's for loans under $50,000. That is a non-guaranteed loan where we use our mission-based lenders, and SBA provides funds to our mission-based lenders with a low-cost loan, and they re-lend it out and provide technical assistance. And Terry can tell you about some of our micro lenders that we have here in Georgia. We also have another mission-based program, which is a part of the 7A loan program. It's called our Community Advantage Loan Program. It's for loans up to $250,000, and those could be used for a number of different things. That is a part of the 7A loan program. So it doesn't matter if you're currently in business or not. If you're a startup business and you're looking to get a financial assistance, you may be eligible for a 7A loan and or a 504 loan. And so you can go to SBA.gov and go to Lender Match to look for a lender, or simply go to the district office's website and reach out to your lender relations specialist so they can connect you with one of our resource partners.
Would you explain the Community Advantage Program one more time, please? I think I missed a
Sure.
little last piece of it.
Sure, it's actually a pilot of the 7A loan program, and it's to reach our loans that are less than 250,000. So with the Community Advantage loan, you can do the same thing with that particular program that you would with a regular 7A loan, except it's done through our mission-based lenders that have been approved by SBA to offer that particular loan program for 250 and below.
Okay, and so mission-based is different than your 7A lender?
Typically, it could be the same, but it's going to be like a CDFI. It's going to be perhaps a different type of lender than it would be a regularly federally regulated lender. So they're focused on a specific area, and that's the area that they're going to cover. So they would normally do loans that our traditional lenders would not do.
Okay.
Everyone is
Thank
still
you.
going to have a different threshold for what your credit score would need to be. You would still have to be able to cash flow, meaning that your business must be able to support the debt service. And so all of the lenders are going to look at your financial statements, whether it be historical or financial projections. And when preparing financial projections, our resource partners can help walk you through how to prepare the financial projections, as well as the research that goes behind the information needed to support those financial projections.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rosemary, for walking through those programs. And I see Terry is providing some information in the chat. I know we have a little bit of time left. I tried to read through as many questions as I could, so we can answer some of them right now. Obviously, we can chat, connect afterwards. But one question that I saw was if you can apply for COVID EIDLE if you got the restaurant revitalization fund. The answer is yes. You could have received other disaster programs and you can still apply for COVID EIDLE and receive that. So that's one. Two, someone, I've seen this come up where you maybe or were approved for COVID EIDLE and didn't access the funds. It just sat there. That's okay. You can come back and you might need to reactivate your account. And in that case, you need to contact customer service. And I can provide the link for that in the chat, or I can also send it in offline materials. So that was one. That's another point. In terms of timeline for COVID EIDLE loans that are $500,000 and below, it takes several weeks from the moment you submit your application till you get a decision. And then it may take several, between 5 to 10 business days for the funds to reach your bank account. So that's why I emphasize, the sooner you apply, the sooner you can get things moving to get the funds eventually. So that's the timeline. I will highlight that the system does not update your status super frequently. So it is possible that during that 2 to 3 week period, it just says processing and you're wondering, is everything okay? And yes, it's so, and you'll find out, someone or a loan officer will reach out if they're missing documentation or information. So that's the timeline. Someone asked about if you've been declined, can you reapply? You can reapply. Just to make sure it's a good use of your time. Again, that's always important to me, and you've got a shot. It'd be good to understand why you got declined. So if you got declined because you, let's say, don't meet the minimum credit score requirement, or let's say you got declined because you started your business after January 2020. Let's say that one. If you start your business after January 2020, you're not going to be accepted, unfortunately. This program's not focused on that. Or if the formula that we went over, the revenue minus expenses equals a negative number, you're not going to be eligible for funds. So knowing why you got declined is helpful. There are some reasons for decline that unfortunately are very common that you can totally apply for. So a common reason for decline is that the information on your intake form that we walk through, that's why we put up those instructions to try to avoid confusion. Because a common reason for decline is that the information on the intake form doesn't match your tax documents. And so it's two different pieces of information. And so the system sees a disconnect, decline. That doesn't mean you need to be declined. That the system saw a disconnect, you can apply again, and you could be totally fine. I've talked to small business owners that unfortunately ran into that disconnect. So the instructions are trying to help you get ahead of that, but you can apply for something called reconsideration. In the decline letter, it will provide like a step for how you can apply for reconsideration. And then you'll work on getting that reevaluated. So that's if you can reapply. People apply for reconsideration and then get approved all the time, because it's very possible you got declined not for a reason that actually makes you ineligible for the program. So that's that one. A question around the targeted advance geographic requirement. I know some people there's a zip code requirement that if you fall out of the geography, is there a way to contest that? Because maybe your geography is a low income area, but the mapping tool doesn't reveal that. Unfortunately, that there's no flexibility there. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but I'd rather be upfront so that you're not, hitting your head against the wall. That requirement and the way it's structured is the policy. So that's that. Then again, there's a question on if someone started their business during the pandemic, so March or June 2020, can you apply for COVID EIDLE? No, COVID EIDLE requires your operation by January 2020, but some of the other programs that my colleagues mentioned could be worthwhile. And finally, the SBA Office of Capital Access has a weekly office hours session that I'm on a lot, or I've been doing it, but some of my other colleagues share that. So it might not be me, but one of us will be on that if you have questions about the application process, you could join in and ask questions. So that is at 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. You can get information for the link to join that on the COVID EIDLE website and or SBA social media. That'll be my last point, social media. I'll put a plug for SBA social media. Beyond COVID EIDLE, there'll be other programs, some of the ones that my colleagues mentioned, and future programs. And if you follow SBA social media, you can be staying up to date of what programs are available and get that information. That is all for me. Thank you to the team for bringing this group together. Really exciting. This all kind of came together, and I've seen like hundreds of people here tuning in on a Thursday night talking about small business. So this is awesome. And I, from Office of Capital Access, I look forward to engaging in future, ways of sharing information and getting resources out there. So happy to stay connected. And thank you to Rosemary and Terry, my colleagues, who also joined our short notice and came to provide information as well.
Thank you so much, Veronica. I see one question in here. The person said I was declined the advance because I answered the first question wrong. I applied for reconsideration. Do we have any idea about how long that takes?
Yeah, reconsideration tends to take about 3 to 4 weeks. It's a bit slower of a process than the average several weeks.
And did you put in here the 800 number for the customer service, or is it on the FAQs?
Yeah, let me grab that now. Let me get that right now.
Okay.
I can put that in there.
And
one thing I would like to share with the group as well. I know we mentioned the 7A, the 504, and the microloan program. Business owners tend to walk into the bank and say, I want a 7A loan or I want a 504 loan. I would simply just say you're looking for financing, and to say if they offer the SBA's options as a solution for your finances, because you may qualify for one of their conventional loan programs, because typically they may offer lower interest rates. Again, the 7A loan program is not necessarily a low interest rate loan. It does provide for longer terms. It does come along with a personal guarantee, but also there's other programs available. There may be the SSBCI loan program. And then locally here, I know in Atlanta, there are a lot of other different programs for Fulton County and DeKalb County where they have other small business programs, and you may be able to leverage all those loan programs in addition to SBA's loan programs.
And so someone was saying, if I have if I receive the PPP, if I receive the $10,000 grant, can I also apply for the EIDLE?
Yes, so the grant, so that comes back to that formula, that revenue minus cost of goods sold expenses. That grant will be taken from your eligible amount. So let's say that formula yielded $50,000, right? That was your eligible amount. $10,000 are that grant. And so now you're eligible for $40,000 of loan funds. So that's how that will work.
And then the nonprofit organizations are included in this as well, right, Veronica?
Correct. I know this is a business group, so it's focusing on that. But yes, nonprofits, you're right, can apply for COVID EIDLE. And for a nonprofit, the interest rate is a bit lower. It's at 2.75%. Yeah. So that's that. So, well, thank you all. We can stay connected, and those office hours if application questions come up and deadlines coming up, the funds are there, programs available. And so if it's useful for you, you can take advantage of it.
And in closing, I would just like to encourage everyone, and I'm sharing this so Veronica can hear it too. Company when it first came out, and for whatever reason, we end up doing a duplicate application because at first they did not have that checkbox for the $10,000 grants, or at least I didn't see it. So we reapplied, and then now we have a duplicate application. So that took us down a road that I did not want to go, that you don't want to go down. And then lo and behold, someone, I'll just say inadvertently, used our EIN number. And so we had to go through that process. And then finally, in talking with Paula Watson, she was like, try and reapply again and call your congressman if you need some help. So just as a reminder, those are your representatives locally as well as at the federal level So if you have some issues, you voted for these folks, you might want to ask them to help you, which is what I did to help me throughout this process. And Veronica, this week I got an approval for the for my EIDLE loan. And
Great.
so yes,
That's
so
awesome.
yes, Veronica.
Yeah.
Because I told Veronica my little sad story. And this has been old. I mean, again, the EIDLE loan started back in March of 2020 or something. So I'm just saying that to say that if you hit some stumbling blocks along the way, definitely use the 800 number, definitely ask for assistance. Remember you have the reconsideration, as well as you have your congressmen and folks there to assist you, because that's why part of the reason why they are in office. So we want to, if there's any other closing comments before I close out from any of the speakers.
I just want to definitely hats off to all of the partners who got their members notified and encouraged to attend. That is the reason. I mean, even up to just about 10 minutes ago, people were still registering. So hats off to these partners. And it really just signals how collaboration can really benefit our greater community. So I want to encourage all of us to do what we can to work together to really accomplish some of these great tasks, because we're more powerful together than we are apart. So thank you, Danita, for just inviting us to even facilitate this tonight. As I put in the chat, if you came in late and didn't get all the information, send us an email to knowledge@eiccnetwork and .com, and Danita will help facilitate any direct questions with the SBA officials, Veronica and Terry and Rosemary, to help you get those answers directly. So we'll get the recording to you as soon as possible. Any handouts that will be provided to us as soon as possible, just send your request to that email address. And yeah, that's it. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. Good night.
Take care.